Welcome back to Calgary, Canada, here in the curling bubble. And finally, we are back in the building for our second draw of the day, session 23, as we take a look at Canada Olympic Park and Canada's Olympic Sports Hall of Fame. We're just east of the Rocky Mountains here in Canada, and we're going to bring you into the Wind Sport Arena here in Canada Olympic Park for this session 23, and our feature game being between Japan and Estonia. And here's a look at our teams for Japan. At lead, Yumie Funiyama. Second, Anna Omiya. Third, Kaho Onodera. And skip, Sayaka Yoshimura. And for Team Estonia, lead, Erika Tuvike. Second, Haley third, Lisa Turman. Skip, Marie Turman. The second was actually Carolee Laidsalu. And here are our current standings. You see RCF, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark all already qualified for the playoff round and their nation for the Olympic Games in Beijing next year. And there's a group at 6 losses. China and Japan at 7 losses. Czech Republic 3-8. Italy 2-10. And Estonia in our feature game today at 1-10. And here's the other matchups for session 23. Sheet A, Korea versus Czech Republic. Sheet B, Switzerland, Germany. That game has big playoff implications. And Sheet C, Sweden versus Italy. And Sheet D is our feature between Japan and Estonia. So welcome here to the Wind Sport Arena. I'm Jill Officer, along with Olympic silver medalist Mike Harris, as we bring you the call on this Japan-Estonia game. And Mike, we've been out of the building for a little while, but what do you know about these teams?
Well, yeah, you've got two teams that are kind of fighting for pride at this point. Japan, obviously, 4 wins so far and looking to improve their record. I think Yoshimura would have had playoff aspirations certainly coming into this event and hoping to secure their country's spot at the Olympic Games. Unfortunately, that has not happened, but they will certainly want to go out on a winning note here today. And you've got another team in Estonia. This is their very first Women's World Championship, which is a massive step forward for their international program. And Skip Marie Turman and her team, despite being 1-10, actually been in quite a number of games, and they'll play tough today against the more experienced team from Japan.
Right, and these teams are still playing for rankings within their region, I believe, so that they have spots for their region to qualify for World Championships.
World Championships, and for the OQE, the Olympic qualifying event as well. But you know, this late stage of the playoff round, you don't. Hard to find some motivation sometimes, but to your point, they're always trying to represent their country as well as they can. And Estonia will have the advantage of last rock here and in number 1. And I'm looking forward to watching them play. Really haven't, for 2 reasons. One, we haven't seen anybody play all week long, but not super familiar with the team from Estonia. I do know both of their coaches quite well. And they both have high praise for the team and their work ethic. So as we get things underway here in number 1.
Okay, as we get underway here with Japanese lead, Yumie Funiyama. Also the vice holds the broom for her skip. Japan played a couple of great games yesterday, including a win over Canada.
Well, again, this is a very good team. You know, they made the final of one of our Grand Slam events last year, and the difficulty for them is they were not here in the bubble prior to the Women's World Championship, so they came in rusty, and it showed early in the week, and they've continued to get better as the week has gone on, as have a couple of the other teams here, including Korea. The Olympic silver medalists and the Olympic bronze medalist nations, both of them are missing the playoffs and are going to have to go to that Olympic qualifying event next fall.
Japan will make the open hit. Likely just an exchange of stones here this end, unless we see a miss.
I suspect Estonia would be happy with that strategy. What little we did see of them during the week, I thought I was actually fairly impressed with their technique and the skip. Marie Turman, she made a bunch of really nice shots in some close games. They were tied late in the game against Sweden. Lost that one on last rock, and so again, they've been in a number of games.
Yeah, and Marie will also be heading off to Aberdeen for the World Mixed Doubles Championship. She does play a lot of mixed doubles, representing Estonia. Japanese second, Anna Omiya. If you're just joining us today, this is our first day back on the broadcast after having to take some safety precautions, be in isolation for a number of days. So you may notice some of the camera angles are a little bit different as they've had to adjust the COVID protocols. But we're happy to be here to bring you what's left of this Women's World Championship.
Well, the important part, the playoffs are coming up, so this is good timing for everyone. And as I said, we've missed being here, and as you mentioned, Jill, no ice level cameras. That's the big thing that anyone who's been watching curling over the years will notice. So not a whole ton of low angle shots, but the microphones on the players. We've got the overheads, and
yeah,
looking forward to bringing you this matchup here. Just 2 rounds left in the round robin to sort things out.
Yeah, and the draw this evening is actually from the postponed draw that was originally supposed to take place on this past Sunday morning. And they postponed that out of safety as well, and that will now happen this evening. And then the qualifying game that was originally scheduled for this evening will take place at the same time as the other qualifying game tomorrow morning. So a roll out there by Japan gives Estonia here an opportunity to throw a draw, get a feel for some draw weight.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a free pass.
And just a reminder, our rules of play: 6 ends minimum. Teams are required to play 38 minutes of thinking time, and each team is allowed 1 60-second timeout. As we see 29-year-old Kaho Anodera.
Yeah, Kaho's had a solid week at third for this team. Like I said, they're a world-class team. So as I said, they're I know they're disappointed with their record so far, but they'll be finishing strong here today.
This one's moving a little bit. They're trying to hold it straight. The weight's down a little, I think, too, and it just catches the red.
see kuidagi palju pööras, ma sain 9-7.
You can see there by the ice that Sayaka is giving. It's been a great surface this week, lots of curl.
There is plenty of curl. We actually were on the sheet this morning for our Canada-China matchup, so this outturn side really curls hard. The in-turn actually, strangely, was a touch straighter. You know, curling towards the boards. Typically, it's the other way around, but speed was excellent, and as I said, the ice surface has been great here all week long.
Lisa Turman is the third for this team from Estonia.
Oh, so as they exchange stones here, certainly Estonia will be looking for a blank. And Japan will be hoping for a mistake, which would be a nose hit. Try to get a hammer that way.
Japanese skip, 29-year-old Sayaka Yoshimura. Anna trying to get this to move over. She will make contact and remove the stone, but does roll out of play.
So Marie Turman trying to go to the wings, out to the side of the 12-foot on the right-hand side as we're looking at it. Key on these, don't be light.
Yeah.
Little heavy's okay, you just do not want to make a guard for your opponent by mistake where you end up forced to one. Thrown many of these through the rings, Jill, in my career.
Well, you went with the tolerance, Mike.
Well, this is it. Don't want to ruin things for your team after playing a good end here.
Did you ever have a preference as to, like, would you put it to a spot that was straighter to make it easier for a blank, or one that maybe curled up a little more to make it easier for a blank?
Yes, I always threw it to the right side of the sheet so I'd have an outturn on my last. That was always, for me, that was my preference. So.
Almost regardless of what the ice was like?
Well, first end especially, right? You're trying to learn what the ice is doing everywhere, but you know, I figured I have a better chance of making the outturn back in the day. You know, I've made the odd in-turn too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, but if I had to choose, I would take the outturn. Well, important here now for Japan just to stay and force Estonia into making a shot on their last.
Trying to make contact here, it's moving. And they will, and I think it's just gonna roll out, so that will actually be an easy blank for Marie Turman and Estonia.
Never missed one of these, Jill.
I would
hope not.
I would really start to question you if you did, Mike.
A good start here for Team Estonia. They'll be happy to take the hammer into end number 2. Marie Turman with the last stone here in the first end of this matchup between Estonia and Japan. An easy blank. Throwing some down weight to get a look at this spot in the ice, and they will carry the last stone advantage on until the second end here in our 23rd session of this LGT World Women's Curling Championship.
So it wasn't down, it's just curling from there. I think we didn't go far enough maybe outside.
See on üks imelik lahtilaskmine ka. Siuke nagu keeratud ja siis lükatud.
Welcome back here to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship as we get the second end underway here between Japan and Estonia. Estonia blanked the first end. And we'll have last stone here in the second. I suspect Japan, and yes, they've indicated a guard this end. Mike? No surprise, really.
Round of applause goes up from the booth here, gives us something to talk about, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, Japan can't afford to just continue to throw the rock in the rings, and I think they know against the less experienced team that Estonia be content just to keep things simple.
Erica Tuvike, only been curling for 6 years. Man, I hadn't even won a provincial championship in my 6th year of curling. And here she is at the Worlds.
Well, and the one thing for this team to get here, they have to finish into the top 8 at the European Championship. So that's a significant accomplishment against some of the teams that they're up against back at the Europeans. So it's not something that Estonia. I mean, obviously the goal is always to make it to the Worlds, but this is a huge step, just them being here at this championship. So this will give them something to build on moving forward. And you know, the other thing is, in order to play in the Olympic qualifying events, you have to have played in a World Championship. So that's another step forward for this program. There's 60 plus member associations now, and the fact they're here, top 14 teams in the world, it's a big deal.
That won't quite come up enough, but to stick around, but it does just get it out, and we'll give Japan an opportunity to come around the center guard again.
These guards that are about halfway up, it's actually very difficult to keep buried. You get around, and what tends to happen if you get by too tightly, the rock comes right out into the open on the other side. So even that one high in the rings, you can see is a little bit open on the other side. Not enough for Estonia to take a run at it, so they'll just hit and roll over.
There's a lot that you can chase around those guards too if they're a little bit too high. With the nice swing we're seeing here as we see actually the alternate for this Estonia team stepping in at second today, Karoli Leitsalu. They will just tick that over for a corner guard.
Decent result, actually. They may be able to use that later. That corner.
Anna Omiya, 31-year-old. This is Anna's 4th World Championship. As that stone comes to land on the corner on our sheet, we'll take you over to sheet B for an update between Switzerland and Germany. Switzerland here with the last stone advantage. Looks like a draw for 3, Mike.
It does, and for all fans of Canada and USA curling, you should be cheering for Switzerland right now.
Yes.
If Switzerland is to win this game against the Germans, you know, there's a bunch of different scenarios can happen, but almost all of them have both of those teams making the playoffs if Switzerland was to hang on here. So,
and Alina Petz will make that draw for 3, and Switzerland takes a 3-0 lead after 1. And the Germans still chugging along, playing with their 3 players after 2 of their players tested positive for COVID upon entry to the event, and so they've been in isolation since. And boy, Germany's done such a great job of.
It's really a great story, actually, to have the 3 of them come along. They're actually at 6 losses right now, and you know, you've played on a team with 3, Jill, and you know, you can describe the challenges as a single sweeper, and especially the modern sweeping where you're trying to switch sides all the time, making one curl or keep it straight. I mean, it's a real challenge to play as 3. And so they need to be given full credit for how well they've managed.
Yeah, and from a mental and emotional standpoint too, how well they've managed it. I mean, you know, how disappointing is it to come here finally getting the chance to play, and out of the blue, you know, somehow through travel they have 2 players that can't play, and yeah, just to battle back from that and still be in the mix on the last day is quite the story.
Well, and well, so you were in Denmark a couple of years ago with Team Canada, and you know, Danielle Jensch and her team played extremely well there also, so it's an experienced skip and experienced team that, you know, wouldn't be hard to think they would have won 1 or 2 more games with all 4 players.
So Japan here set up for a hit to lay 2. And they will just roll right to the button.
Yeah, good opportunity to get the force here. So if you're Estonia, you would love to roll to the left, either in front of that stone at the back of the rings or even all the way over behind the corner guard. See if you can't figure out a way to score more than 1. You're certainly going to be forced at this point.
And that will come up, but it will roll to the opposite side. Still shot rock. So Japan needs to deal with that. So we take a look at Team Japan coach Hiroshi Seito.
Hiroshi Seito, yeah.
Seito. Sorry.
Curled against him in Nagano, actually, along 1998. He played 3rd for Team Japan at the. He was on member of the host team, so known Hiroshi for that many years, 23 years. That's man, getting up there, Joe. That is the nice thing.
Just note that you dated yourself, not me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you know, curling's such a small community, and you know. 6 or 7 world championships you've been to now, and the Olympics. It is nice to see all the familiar faces every event, and And there is a big error on our feature sheet with Sayaka, the outturn, just not taking the curl. So a surprising error, to say the least.
Yeah, and so an opportunity here now for Estonia to get set up for a 2 here.
And there's Nicole Strauzak. She's run the Estonian program for about 5 years now and worked a long time with all the athletes there. And Derek Brown on the left there. But one of the other nice changes, I don't know if it's a nice change, or maybe the way to put it, but the coaches are at opposite ends of the sheet. I think this might be something that might stay moving forward. I think everyone's enjoyed it. Both teams have a little bit more room to stretch and get going before the game.
Yeah, it was a COVID protocol that brought that into place, but does have people spread out a little more and like you said, gives teams when they come out to warm up before their pregame practice, gives them some extra room to deal with. So I agree. I won't be surprised to see this stay, and that Estonia stone just stays for second shot.
Perfect, yeah. Well, the other good thing about it too, if you'll recall, in Denmark at the last World Championship played before this one, before the men's even, you know, the coaches were elevated up above ice level, and it was forbidden to contact your teammates or your team during the game at all. So now between ends, both teams can actually have a word or two with their coach. I love it. I think this is a fantastic change, and I'm hoping it's one that will stick around for all future championships with the World Curling Federation. Now I've coached at a couple of Worlds now, and the kind of the post-event meeting, it's always, certainly more recently, been a push towards that type of interaction with your teammates. As we see the last rock here for Team Japan.
So trying again this same hit. This time she will stick it right on the nose, and Estonia will have a hit here for 2, but not much room to roll to the outside.
And interestingly, took the opposite turn that Japan has thrown on both of their hits over here. So
would you take the outside in turn here, Mike, or would you take the inside out given how much room you have to roll?
Generally, that's what I play.
Yeah. As we take a look here at Korea and Czech Republic, and Korea, I think, was maybe a draw for 1, but we will get that for you as we see the last stone here in the second end for Estonia.
This needs to curl. Trying to make it move.
And it will, and that will be a score of 2 for Estonia, and they take a 2-0 lead. And to update you on that Korea-Czech game, it was actually a score of 2 for Korea. So they take a 2-0 lead over Czech Republic after 2.
Keegi ei pane nagu kuidagi, ma ei tea. teen 25, 20.
Peale läheb on okei tegelikult.
jah. jah. pigem ma arvan aeglane. ta ei saanud juurde.
Welcome back here to Winsport Arena in Calgary, Canada. Estonia with a score of 2 in the second end. Take a 2-0 lead here over Japan in our feature game of this LGT World Women's Curling Championship. I'm Jill Officer, joined by Mike Harris.
Yeah, you know, no matter who you're playing at an event like this, you cannot afford to give away free points. And that was exactly what happened there in end number 2 as Sayaka Yoshimura flashed the open hit. He went from a force to a 2 all of a sudden. And kudos to Team Estonia for taking advantage.
And makes a nice come around there.
Yeah, definitely time to change gears now for both teams. You know, first opportunity with last rock for Yoshimura. That's a good start. Good looking freeze here.
Very nice.
Excellent shot.
Well managed as well by the sweepers. So we'll see another freeze here by Yumie.
Freeze for freeze.
As we take you over to Sheet B again for an update between Switzerland and Germany. And Switzerland with a 3-0 lead, and Germany with last stone here hitting against 2 Swiss stones.
And Daniela Jentsch looking for the hit and stay.
And the lone sweeper. Just for the most part keeping it clean, and that will be a score of 1 for Germany. And Switzerland now with 2-point lead and last stone going into the third end. A couple of nice freezes here on our sheet, and we're looking at another one potentially coming in here for Estonia. This one looks a little short. Japan calling the peel here.
Yeah, play the double peel. The scoring area getting a little tighter than they're comfortable with.
And the guards are staggered, which is
never good.
Never good. And they roll for a corner guard. Very nice double peel and roll there.
You know, conversely, I think you're going to see a guard or 2 more from Estonia. And then it's going to be just a question of who decides to change gears first. With a 2-point lead, I'm sure Estonia is happy just to keep things fairly simple to start here. They could make a play up the middle, but they would end up being shot stone, which is nice. Don't want this in the rings, though.
okei, see on hea.
And that comes a little deep.
14-8.
Yeah, chance to rattle these around now and maybe keep another one in the rings for Japan. Trying to figure out what weight to throw. So just trying to have like a board weight or hit and roll behind the corner guard. And then things will be a little more complicated, certainly.
And they'll over curl and jiggle some things around and not roll far enough.
Just light, really. They didn't even get that rock out of play, so hit, you know, 3/4 of it and still didn't get it through the house. So I think probably less weight than Japan was hoping for. That definitely should have removed that yellow, hitting it on that angle. So that had to have been light.
Estonia trying to throw a better guard here this time. This one looks like it's over curling a little bit.
Yeah, not a bad situation here for Estonia, to be honest. They can gonna force Japan to think a little bit about what they want to do. Could play the trying to figure out a good way to get another one in the rings that outcounts that stone on the left. So it looks like some sort of hack waiter on the top one, and if they make contact with their own red, that should do it.
Trying to maybe unlock some things here, Mike?
Yes, yeah, move the yellow that's in the 8-foot kind of maybe half into the open. You leave enough of your own stones hanging around, it makes your opposition nervous, I'm sure. This needs to curl.
Trying to finish this, so probably just split them in a little bit. One of them will outcount the back one, and one of them will not.
It makes a difference, though, helping. That'll help put pressure on. You know, it's hard to hit anything if you're Estonia without worrying about rolling out or opening up that middle yellow. So they're going to guard now and just continue to make it difficult on Japan to score more than, you know, 2 is certainly in the mix now. Estonia's just got to be very careful not to give up more than 2.
This is just moving so nicely. It's sometimes hard to place these guards quite right. That's a pretty good shot, though.
Well, you can speak to this. I think it's just very important as a sweeper. You need to know exactly how deep, you know, you want the guard placed. I think, you know, if that rock goes another 4 feet for depth, it's offline all of a sudden. So.
And that has to be managed all the way down too. It's I mean you have the ideal thought of what you want the depth in the line to be, but if the speed is a little bit off, you have to manage it from that point to make sure you get the line. They will just miss that other yellow one.
It was hard to miss all of those rocks.
It
they
was,
managed.
yes. And so Estonia will call another guard here.
Well, I said, I think for Estonia at this point, they're going to have to almost concede some sort of draw for 2 for Japan, and you know, messing anything up there in the middle could end up leaving a double to bring all those reds into play somehow.
this needs to sit down a little bit.
You can almost see an inch of that red, and if you could actually chip that yellow, your shooter's going to go right over to that back yellow. It's almost worth it, you know, to try it. Throw, you know, quiet normal. It'll curl in there. And I don't think you can hurt yourself. That's right where you have to hit it. If you get by the guard by an inch or so, you'll be very close to making the double on the two yellows. Or throw it there. That's also good. Way less fun for us, but that's also a good call. The danger, of course, you come a rock too deep and you leave a double. That would be a problem. So that's a very precise shot that they're calling. The tolerance is missing it a little light.
Just to give you an update here on Sweden-Italy over on sheet C. Italy currently with a 1-0 lead, and looks like a hit for two.
It's a hit against two.
Against two, sorry.
Yeah,
Couldn't
that's
see
okay,
that.
We were blocked. We were blocked out there.
Yeah. So a hit against two, and
it's going to go high side and roll out. So a steal for Italy. Game does not mean much to Sweden. They're safely in the playoffs, safely in third place. And as we head over to sheet A.
Yeah, and Korea, Czech Republic, and Korea with a 2-0 lead here. And Anna Kubishkova of Czech Republic with last stone.
It's like a blank attempt here with the quirk in the schedule from that missed draw number 7 on Sunday morning. The Czechs have a rare scenario where they have to play 3 games today. You know, unfortunately for them, they're out of the playoffs, so, or fortunate, depending how you look at it, but they'll certainly be tired at the end of the day. And then Korea, for those of you who are wondering, if no matter what happens out here with the wins and losses and everything, they cannot make the playoffs. So Korea is, even though they can get to 7 and 6, there is no such a scenario. There's the standings. So Korea can get to 7 and 6, but head-to-head records, last zone draw records will be coming into play. And speaking with their coach, Peter Gallant, so for Canadian curling fans, it's Brett Gallant's father who plays with Team Gushu. He said he thinks they're done. So again, playing for, so now we have the silver medalists and the gold medalists from Pyeongchang having to go re-qualify at that Olympic qualifying event. So you do not want any part of that event if you're hoping to qualify for
you
Beijing.
meant the silver medalists and the bronze medalists.
Sorry, what did I say?
You said gold.
Oh yes, the silver and the bronze. My apologies. Yes, of course, Anna Hasselborg and her gold medals team, they're already through. So
Yes.
So no fun to be had at the OQE in December. Tons of pressure, of course. So very nice hit and stay there from Estonia. So this, because it doesn't look like you can nose hit this yellow. Difficult draw for 2 here now for Japan.
Yeah, having to go a little wider out here, I think, than we've seen. And for this last stone here of Sayaka Yoshimura. Sweeper is not touching this one, and as they back off, meaning that it's heavy, probably thinking that it was heavier out there, but that will go through the rings and it'll only be a score of 1 for Japan in the third end. So Estonia still with a 1-point lead after 3 and will have the hammer next end.
ごめん、思ったより重くなかった。1.4あれで。オッケー。あんま曲がってなかったね。めっちゃまずかった。I tried once, yeah.
Welcome back to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2021. A feature matchup here, session 23 between Japan and Estonia. Fourth end, Estonia with the hammer, the last stone advantage.
Yeah, perfect start here for Team Estonia. Take 2, give your opponents 1. Now you have the hammer in end number 4. It's really ideal. I couldn't have hoped for much more.
Estonia will throw the corner guard. Pretty good tournament for UMIA.
Yeah, 84 would be a decent week. Interesting when you're talking with teams that are struggling getting their wins here early. For the most part, it's certainly with Japan. It's, you know, early in the week they just a little bit rusty would have been a fair statement. So, and again, when we talked about Estonia, again, just the inexperience of playing in arena settings really makes a huge impact on. It's just different trying to get your bearings in an arena when you're used to throwing in a curling club. That's part of it. Ice curls much more as well, typically.
Curl now.
Very nice.
And again, this Swiss-Germany game with pretty significant playoff implications for a number of teams. And Switzerland currently up 3-1, and looks like an open draw here for Alina Petz in the third end for 2 points.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of what Germany's dealing with here, all 4 players on Team Switzerland are at the top of the standings when it comes to percentages. So this is a team that's playing extremely well. And let's not forget they're the defending champions here this week. So
yes,
looking very much like the favorites.
Yeah, and that will be a score of 2, and Switzerland will take the 5-1 lead after 3.
Just clean, just clean. Von mit 70 bis 90 kann man alles ins Haus. Ja, einfach, dass du
So first end here now where Japan's got a little something going. We'll see how well Estonia's able to clear up the middle here. Clearly, Leitsalu lets it go. Needs a double. This is over curled already though, Jill. You know, as a second you would have had your eyes light up with that double. That wasn't wasn't too difficult.
I always liked to have an idea of exactly where I needed to hit the stone, just for how I was going to throw it, and
again, what the tolerance are. Is it okay to cross the face? Is it okay to hit it too thin?
And just from a visualization standpoint, it just allowed me to see it happening a little better.
Coming in a little tighter, so that's, again, for the very top teams, this is a pretty simple double. And in fact, you get the yellow one going back quite often. So this is, you know, I'm sure Team Estonia has a better throw, definitely a better throw on that one. Gonna hit it on the correct side to start, just missed the double.
So Japan will, again, throw the guard. A little higher this time, Mike?
I think just more separation is good, isn't it? Seems to be.
Trying to make this one finished, get a little closer to the center line. I don't think that's more separation.
No.
So should be simple to remove those two guards now.
Could take on the kind of the pocket double and send your yellow into the rings as well. If you actually happen to miss the red, you hit your yellow directly onto the stone top 8 foot. Oh, my Estonian is 0 to none. So, look, like I said, you hit it on the nose, but if it over curls a little bit, that's okay. Good throw. Very close to doing some damage here.
Needs to come up, and it does.
Excellent shot. Really good. That was the good option there. Fantastic. This is one of the big changes in the game in the last 5 or 6 years. You have to have this run back in your arsenal if you hope to compete with the top teams in the world. And you would have seen a significant progression over your career, Jill, from how good teams became at this over the last number of years. All those years playing with Team Jones.
Yes.
You know, first couple of years, you know, back dating myself back to the late 90s and early 2000s, you were happy to make contact with the one in the house.
Yes.
Now teams are disappointed when they don't leave it buried at the one in the house.
Yeah, when they don't hit it perfectly.
Yeah, so it's, and a lot of it.
There was definitely a progression on that and a lot more emphasis and practice on run backs.
Sure, and it's two things. One is the throwing, obviously, but also the sweeping. You're able to handle the line a lot more definitively now with the brushing, for sure. So, again, with the miss though and a great run back, chance to get 2 here again for Estonia. You're going to split the rings.
So a big opportunity here for Lisa Turman as we take a look at Korea and Czech Republic over on sheet A. Korea currently with a 1-point lead and have the last stone here. Is there a double for? Oh, it doesn't look like she's playing a double, by the way. She's kicking out. But
yeah, I think if you absolutely had to score 2, you might play it. But again, up 1 here. Make sure they score. Yunjun Kim. Nice throw.
Clean for 1. That will be a single point for Korea, and they'll take a 3-1 lead over Czech Republic after 4.
And back on our feature sheet, that draw attempt from Lisa Turman goes a little deep. Still a tricky hit here for Team Japan to lie to. You know, making that yellow one disappear at the top of the 8-foot isn't that difficult, but to roll in for second shot, it's going to require a bit of skill. And of course, if it ever happened to curl up, you know, there is a danger of jamming it on the back.
いいんじゃないか。
は全然曲がってなかった9さっきね。いいか。スイープ使おう。
オッケー。いいと思う。よし。
First of skip stones here in 4. Trying to play the thin double now. And a really good line call there by Yumie. They were originally trying to make it curl to play the original shot called and realized it wasn't going to come up enough and switched the sweeping tactic and started keeping it straight.
Yeah, Funiyama with a good sweeping call. Didn't get shot stone out though, so still an outside shot here for Estonia. I was going to say, I thought they were going to be hitting this one on the left-hand side. If they hit it and exchange hits, there'd be a double for 2. So they're going to play the freeze, try to get 2 that way. Also not wrong. This is freeze is never super easy. As we see, Marie Turman 69% for the week. This looks a little warm.
And this will come up just enough to touch the red, but rolls off. Marie looking a little
surprised
confused.
or relieved, I don't know.
So Sayaka Yoshimura looking to hit and stick here to force Estonia to a single.
I don't think there's anywhere they can roll that would cause a problem. That certainly won't, so good shot. No hesitation from Marie. She'll throw the draw to the button for 1.
Last stone, 4th end. Estonia's Marie Turman needs almost 4 foot here for a single, as we also take a look at the hog to hog time to get an idea on the draw speed, and this does not look heavy. The sweepers are trying to drag this, and a 14.6. They're going to have to work this one pretty good to get it into the forefoot for their single. And they do great sweeping by the front end there. Can thank the sweepers for that one, and that will be a single for Estonia. They take a 3-1 lead after the fourth end.
2点狙いに行きます。コーナー行こうかな。今相手こっち久しぶりに使ったけど、ちょっと中レーン走ってたけど14.3で伸びてる感じだった。どこも伸びてるね。だいぶ変わんないね。サイドも13半ぐらいで。
Mis sa pika said Marianne?
14.5.
Küll.
Hea aeg oli.
Lebo.
Ta tuli natukene seestpoolt.
Ta tuli, sellepärast hakkas pöörlema või nagu keerama.
Või sellepärast sa läksid nagu
ja ma läksin ja ma kartsin, et äkki ta nagu...
Lähedal.
20? Jah. 25. Pigem vist las slipib sisse, kui jääb pikk.
Jah.
No nii, 25, 20.
See on hea. See 24. See 24. 2, 3. 2, 3. Tundub 3. 3. Keski on või? Hirmila.
Keski on.
Hirmila. Ei. Sa pikka said.
Võib-olla võid laiemaks võtta. Pöörad üle. See sai juurde ka.
Welcome back here to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship from the Calgary Curling Bubble. Fifth end here in our feature matchup between Japan and Estonia. Estonia with a 3-1 lead. And Estonia, Mike, still not afraid to put up the guard.
No, I think they know to do the right thing, which is great. So I think that's the start. You know, when you're talking about teams that are struggling, kind of middle, bottom of the pack. You know, on the rare occasion where the team you were playing on, it usually just comes down to shot making, right? If the strategy isn't an issue, it's one of those things we just have to make more shots, and kind of everyone knows it. And I think we saw Team Canada go through that this week, just struggling with making enough, or at least making the right shots anyway. And you know, but they've got a friend in Switzerland over there who's helping them out a little bit. And may end up making the playoffs, but I think both Japan and Estonia, and certainly many of the teams that are going to miss the playoffs here would say, listen, you know what? We know what to do. We're just having trouble doing it. So a couple of nice rocks there, though, from Estonia to get things going here in the fifth. Really, you said a good start by them. Looking good.
Mm-hmm. So trying to chase this around the guard and sweep it to get by, and oh, it just gets by and rolls. Would have liked to roll it behind that corner guard, but nonetheless, a nice shot.
Yeah, very nice. Obviously can't remove that stone from play, the guard that is. 5 rock rule, but nice shot there from Japan.
Estonia Second, trying to roll back under their guard. And it'll just sit there in the open as we take a look at a lot of red here for Switzerland in this Switzerland-Germany game, and Switzerland's already up 5-1. German skip Daniela Jentsch needs the button here, Mike, for a score.
Yeah, this is not easy. Very low on the fun scale.
So we see the single sweeper working this one here. Must be close. So a little bit on and off. Now switching around to hopefully make it curl a little bit, and it just sits. Perfect shot by Daniela Jentsch there to score a single and save the game, really.
We'll give an assist to her sister, Annalena, for sweeping that to perfection. Excellent shot.
Yeah, and our sheet's still looking for a perfect roll behind one of these guards. Estonia wanting to roll to the middle and Japan wanting to roll to the wing. This one's moving already.
Well,
again, it will sit in the open.
Well swept. Just by the guard. No, missed by a mile. Inch or so.
Trying to get by. Oh, and they just do, and get a roll well to the inside, over rolls, and doesn't even remove the stone and not shot rock.
Eagle eye there, Jill. I was not convinced that was didn't think it was going to get by, or I thought it was going to get the yellow one out.
You see them sweeping here, and more room than I thought, actually, Mike. But
yeah, just light, I guess.
So a mistake there by Japan, and an opportunity here now for Estonia to draw around the center guard.
Good call to me in a tight game. You know, up 3-1, playing the fifth, leaving your opponent's stones hanging around the wings is not a huge risk, but there's definitely a little bit of risk in leaving that stone, and there's a good example of it here. Just, you know, you're 2 up, just hit something. It would have been fine. So Japan now, well, Japan's going to ignore, so. They'll go around, but now you're into it with, if you're Estonia, you're definitely into an end where if this gets buried, you can't very well afford to hit the wide one anymore, and you're one mistake away from a big end. Got to go to get by here.
And it will get by, but will it sit in time to be above the tee line? And it does, but is there a bit of a hole there? And Estonia's not even going to look at it, Mike.
Well, again, I don't know that you can anymore. If you ever rub the one to the guard, they hit the lie 3 all of a sudden, right? So that was the problem, not hitting that wide one. When you're, again, in a tie game, I don't mind the call, but when you're 2 up, no need to risk giving up more than 2. You're still into it for 2, but you're never into it for 3. Now they're into it for 3 if they miss. So
a big shot here for Estonia, needing to make the freeze.
Line's good. Line's very nice, actually. If the weight's good, seriously, if the weight's good, the line's fine. Very
nice shot.
Very nice. We're about to see if there's a hole there, I think, Joe. Japan's going to run the gauntlet here. That is tight.
Yes, and it's
staggered the right way. I mean, you're going to be throwing it through there, but You need the skinny rock for this one to get through there. Big shot here for Onodera. This is close.
Oh, whoa, they must be close. And it gets, yes,
Wow.
through the hole. And oh, what a great shot. Taps the yellow and rolls over. What a beautiful shot, Mike.
What a mess for Estonia. Heck of a shot.
See them manage this hole here. They're sweeping to make sure and give themselves some space to whoa at the end.
Yeah, geez, drive a truck through there, Jill.
Yeah.
Super shot. Just absolutely perfect. Watch where the shooter rolls, though, as it comes through. And rolls for a nice pocket there. So, again, more experienced team is going to be running that yellow guard right into that pocket in the rings. Pretty big target to run that yellow guard on the left as we're looking at it into the pile. Hit it right on the nose would be quite close. Determined looking at coming through the port again. It's not that easy of a shot.
12 ma arvan sama. siis see jääb paremaks. 12? jah. ta oli 11-9 nii. peaaegu nagu lihtsam välja sealt. või siis see täpp on ju. siis ma juba lööks kõvasti.
So Marie's still actually standing at the hog line, taking a look at this.
How did they get through that tiny port? I think that's what she's saying. But
Läks mingi 30, 11, 12.
needs a good one here.
First of Skip's stones here in 5.
11! Zoon hea! Puhasta! Zoon!
Trying to get it through the hole, following Japan. And this one's moving a little more. They'll still get through the hole. And a little roll.
Great shot. That hole must be larger than we think. Jill,
I
made
think
that
so.
look pretty easy.
And I think we may see Japan playing this again.
Yeah, very nice shot there from Estonia.
How many times can they get through the hole?
They did roll to a spot where if Japan gets through, it looks like it's going to automatically roll right into that other red. So, you know, Estonia's going to have to change gears here if Japan gets through here. That's a big if. And if you're Japan, do not rub on the left-hand guard. Rub on the right-hand guard is okay. Open up shot stone, but
we'll take a look here over on sheet A between Korea and Czech Republic. Korea currently with a 2-point lead, and Czech in a little bit of trouble here, having to play an angle raise. And a Kubashkova, the Czech Republic skip, just getting into the hack. Throw this final stone of their 5th end. We see Japan again getting through the hole on our sheet, Mike, and rolling over, as you said, over in front of their own.
turns out that's an easy shot.
Yeah.
Tough shot here for Kubashkova.
And that will over curl, and I think it's just a steal of 1 for Korea. Take a 4-1 lead after 5.
Well, time to change gears here for Estonia.
see on ka
let's go back to that decision to play the draw.
nagu natuke arvan, nagu peaks asetama.
Hitting that wide one looks pretty good right now, I'm sure, for Team Estonia. I think you may as well try to draw around the middle as opposed to playing the hit and roll. As long as you hit the 12-foot, you should be okay. You're still in danger of 3, of course, but.
Peab päris kõvasti viskama seda.
Would you ever look at the run back there, Mike, on the tight yellow one, just to nut it?
I don't think so, because if you ever just miss it, you give up 4, right? That's
kui
the.
ta samast kohast uuesti
You're
tuleb,
2 ahead.
siis anna ta sama viske.
Limit the damage to 3. So it looks like they're actually going to hit and roll, try to roll into the side of the 4-foot. Maybe get second shot. But almost invariably, Japan's going to have a shot for 3.
Ma arvan, et see asetus on tegelikult võib-olla õigem, aga ma ei tea ka.
As you take a look at the time remaining here for the two teams, Estonia with a little bit less time, but still should be okay.
Yeah, 38 minutes thinking time, and they're here. We're halfway through the game, and they haven't used half of their time yet, so they should be fine.
It's a big shot here for Estonia. Estonia's last stone here. Japan has the last stone advantage.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know what they can play off this one that won't leave Japan a shot for 3. But it's never going to be more than 3 as long as they make contact.
A big power out of the hack from Marie Turman and a little shove. Trying to make something happen here.
Close.
And it does.
If that ends up second shot, which it might have, that's an amazing result.
Yes.
Okay.
That is a fantastic result. Hard to do much better, in fact.
As
Lisa, a little smile.
Lisa taking a look at the overheads here and see it kind of catches the back of it a little bit and slips to the back 4-foot. And
yeah, just watch where the yellow goes compared to the top red. That's the question. I don't think there's anything that Japan can do about it. There's no way of really making a play on that safely, so just draw for 2, potentially 3. Heck of a shot, actually, from Marie Turman.
so look at the draw speed here. Hogline to hogline time, probably looking for around a 14 and a half.
Has to be said, the ice has been fantastic here. Basically for the whole bubble. You know, full credit to Greg Owasco and John Wall, who've been running these events, and Mark Shurt came in for the Grand Slam events. As this draw is made, we'll just see if it's for 2 or 3. 2 for sure, and it's only 2, so great shot there from Turman.
Yeah, bit of a save there when they were in trouble, and Japan will get 2 to tie this game up after 5 ends, and we head to the break. Yep.
Sure, perfect.
Look at our highlights here from the first half. We go back to the second end, and last stone here for Estonia after a blank in 1.
That's right. After a wide open miss from Team Japan, Marie Turman has a chance to score 2 here. And jump out to a bit of a lead. A little concerned halfway down, but no trouble. Right on the nose, and that would be 2-0 after 2.
And to the third end, number of rocks in play here, and last stone for Japan, and opportunity for 2.
Yeah, recurring theme here. A little miss from Japan on their first, poorly positioned draw. Left a nose hit for Estonia. That's that yellow stone you see on the center line. Japan cannot hit that stone and lie 2, so they've elected to try to draw for 2, and this would go heavy.
So they will only get 1, and it'll be 2-1 after the third, and now to the fourth, and a couple of mistakes here that forces Estonia.
Yeah, good end here from Team Japan without last rock. Their mission accomplished. Marie Turman looking for full 8 foot. That's sweep in Estonian.
And the sweepers do work this one. They have to work this one right into the 4-foot to get their single point and have the 3-1 lead at that point. And then in 5, Japan scores 2, and we have a tie game. We take a look at the updates on the rest of our sheets. Korea with a 4-1 lead over Czech Republic. Switzerland with a 5-2 lead over Germany. Sweden with a 6-2 lead over Italy after a 4 in the first half. And again, our game is tied.
Ja, det är så good extend.
They need to take just a bit more ice. I think it's just don't adjust, but just don't. She's getting quite enough rotations as a right turn, so that's maybe why they just kind of curling at the end. Yeah, so you just maybe give her a fraction more ice for that. So don't change anything.
Thanks.
Okay. Control it the same way. Good job. That's a good 5 ends.
To look at the numbers after our first half. A little lower for Estonia in the draws, but hitting well and no stolen points, which is always key, and we have a tie game. Welcome back to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship. As we get the 6th end underway in our feature matchup between Japan and Estonia, I'm Jill Officer along with Olympic silver medalist Mike Harris. Had a pretty interesting game here, Mike.
Yeah, it's been excellent so far with Olympic gold medalist Jill Officer and a 2-time world champion.
Thank you.
What's worth being said, Jill, I think you've played enough of these to know that all these games are important, and I'm pleased to see both teams just still grinding it out. You know, there's obviously a lot of pride at stake for both countries, and you know, Estonia, no lack of motivation to get their 2nd win here. As we look at the game stats.
Trying to make that curl a little bit at the end to get the tick, and does make the tick and rolls the shooter into the house, which is a very nice result for Estonia. Lots going on here on our final day of action. the World Women's Championship, and lots of implications for playoffs here on the line. You see Yumie's game stats, 90% game. Yumie is a 3-time Olympian, so lots of experience. She does hold the broom for Sayaka.
Sama? Jah, mulle meeldib sama. Mis te eelmises stardis olite? 9-2. Okei, 35. Tee nõks aeglasema. Et nõks aeglasem. Sai välja.
Trying the tick again here for Estonia.
See on lai.
This one's a little wider out there.
Ei anna seda pöörata ka. Okei, sorry. 12-1. Okei, kiirus oli hea muidu.
And that will
Tõmbasin käega välja,
go
onju.
through the house and leave a chance now for Japan to come around their guard.
Yeah, I know. Omiya, a very consistent player over the last few seasons with this team. Nice come around here. You know, just judging by the change in pace from Team Estonia, clearly they would have had a game plan discussed at the break. Still tied with the hammer. No point taking a ton of chances. Just going to hit and roll over for a corner. Got to be a little careful not to spin that red you're hitting back towards the middle. Not a ton of weight being thrown here.
Trying to get this to finish. And
That was
it
the
won't-
danger.
Yeah, it won't come up enough and jams on the other corner and rolls to the middle. So a chance here for Japan to double guard their one in the top 4 foot.
That was a product of two things. One, just a little bit of an inexperienced call, throwing that quiet weight. And then as they were sweeping it, there weren't very many places you could hit that and not have that result happen. So I'm sure Nicole and Derek Brown would be recording that and discussing in their debrief afterwards. Good guard. Now they're overlapping, and there's a bit of work to do now for Estonia.
Again, they could touch all 3 here, I think.
How often would you have made your way down to have a look at the angles exactly, or what would your process be, Jill?
I would just ask my skip. I would ask Jen how much I needed to hit to make at least the double peel in this situation. I was the second. I didn't have the luxury of time. I'm supposed to save time for my
As
team.
opposed to cost time, yes. Okay, I get it.
I trusted my skip to tell me where I needed to hit it and visualized it from there.
Yeah, and certainly that would come with. How many years did you curl? Have you curled with 20
Jen?
plus?
23.
23, yeah. So certainly level of trust there established and well established.
Yes. As we see good numbers as well for Kaho Anodera. Sweepers calling this is a little deeper than they want it to be. Just want to let this stop. Tried to rub it off just at the end there and didn't quite.
Get the right angle they wanted, yeah. It's interesting double here. That would be see where that top red goes. Hitting anything on the right-hand side of the center where the broom is. You got to be careful of that back yellow. Hard to tell from the booth here where it's going to end up, but we'll have a look here. Watch the red. Just goes underneath. Perfect.
And rolls for a corner guard.
Very good shot. And again, Yoshimura understanding. We saw the difficulty last end of ignoring your opponent's stones in the rings when you have the hammer. End up costing Estonia multiple ends. So Yoshimura won't make that mistake. She'll hit here and lie to.
It's just floating out toward the boards a little bit, trying to make it curl. And it will come up enough to stick.
Not bad in the sense that the force is on, but Estonia can use that as a catcher, perhaps. Try to roll behind the corner guard, rolls a little too far, go right into that shot.
Sweepers on this early. As we take a look at the last stone here for Korea and Czech Republic, and Anna Kubishkova with the last stone here, actually hitting against two. We couldn't see one in the back of the rings on that last shot, so this is a hit for one for Czech Republic. And no problem there for Anna, and they will get a single, and Korea still with the 4-2 lead and now have the last stone advantage heading into 7. So Japan drawing to lay 2, separate their stones.
Yeah, Yoshimura just going to go open. Makes sense. Try to get the force here.
A little lower numbers than we saw from Sayaka. Had a good day yesterday, I think, throwing a couple of games in the 80s.
Yeah, I missed that draw for 2, and she's had an open hit flash, so that would be the 2 shots that cost her a few percentage points. Definitely wants to play a little better in the second half here.
proovime rolli saada kollaseda rolli pärast. Sobib.
Trying to roll all the way over to the left.
Nõus on okei.
Good numbers for Marie this game. Trying to make something of her 2 rocks here.
I'll definitely get the sense on this team that she's the best player out there. And certainly with her mixed doubles experience with her partner Harry Lill, that they're a very good mixed doubles team. Finished 6th in the world a couple of years ago.
Sayaka, Yoshimura's last stone here in 6.
Yeah,
1 more to come for Estonia.
Just looking to hit and stay.
No problem there. So take a look at Switzerland, Germany, 6th end, and Daniela Jentsch just hit and rolled a little too far on her last one. Leaves this open draw for Alina Petz for 2 points, Mike.
Yeah, Alina doesn't miss very much, so she'll be tough. Just one of the I don't know if underrated is the right word. I don't think she's underrated anymore, but certainly over the last few years, she is top 3 clutch players in women's curling. Like,
agreed.
So good. Just doesn't miss anything important. In fact, winning that world championship last year, she made an unbelievable shot in the 9th end to get her team out of trouble. She's just a star.
And that will be a 2 points and a 7-2 lead for Switzerland over Germany after 6. Mike, I don't know if you remember the draw that she made against our team in 2015 against a bundle. I mean, I can't remember if we were down 2 or down 1.
Right to the side of the button to win.
Yeah, just kind of stopped and spun in the exact what she needed.
Well, it's one of those things where until now, we'll get to that next. And 4-3 here. Estonia's, they get forced to 1. Excuse me, a steal of 1 there. As we'll go into end number 7.
Yeah, this is far. Yeah, it started to be good, then we can clean it. Yeah. Yes. Sorry?
Welcome back here to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship, and Estonia with a single to take the 4-3 lead.
Despite me saying it was a steal, it was actually they took 1. So I am.
It's all good, Mike. We all do it. We all do it.
Listen, a little COVID fatigue doesn't.
And a little 6 days of isolation.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. Just happy to be out, folks.
Yeah, our brains are just still warming up. It's the 7th end, but our brains are just warming up.
That was a big force for Team Japan. Get the hammer here and try to figure out a way to score multiple points now. No more side trips down memory lane, okay, Jill? That'll be our agreement for the next, at least for the next end anyway.
That's how we got off track. We went off-roading a little bit.
I'm easily distracted. Anything shiny, I'm good to go there.
Japan with a good corner guard. That's a good spot.
Yes.
On this ice.
7th end, if you're Estonia, you would love to force Japan to take their single point here. And you're going to be tied with the hammer with 3 ends to play. You have 2 hammers to 1. And conversely, if you're Japan, either get 2 or the blank. The blank would also be good for Team Japan. Yeah, good start for both teams.
Japan playing tick here, I think, Mike?
Yeah, it's going to try to move that center guard off and maybe roll their shooter into the rings even.
little bit of finish out of this.
Excellent shot.
12点よ
Okay. Keski on.
jah, positiivne 13 peaasi, et on kaitse vastu 2.
So 3 corners and
ta pöörab hästi ilusti sealt nagu siukse
no real
suure
danger
kaarega.
stones. So once this guard is made, you might see Japan actually play a little run back here.
natuke sai juurde.
suund hea.
Sain
2.
sain 40. sain ka 40, aga
2. 3. tundub hästi libiseb praegu. 3. see pöörab üle. pöörab juba.
okei, ainult pahestel lihtsalt.
ja ma just ütlen. nüüd sureb 2. see pöörab üle. okei. nüüd. ei saa. okei. okei, hea ise.
Nice guard there.
Yeah, very nice.
はいこっちで
So they, as predicted, Mike, they'll take a go at the run back.
よーピンピンピン
When those rocks touch that center line, they just start to move, and that one will dead nut it.
ja ma ütleks
So a chance here for Estonia to draw another one in.
ütleks
sama,
25.
siis on jah, 25-30.
jah.
Sai natuke juurde, mitte palju.
suund. tagapuna. okei, suund vaja. suund. T-line. suund.
Yeah, definitely trying to keep it wide enough to get around.
tagapuna.
Line's in the ballpark, I think, if the weight's there.
suund hea.
Yeah, it looks like lots of room, actually.
Very good looking shot here.
Really nice.
hea vise.
Maybe a little deeper than they would have liked,
13 pool.
but still Japan has to go up, take another shot at this run back.
Same shot would be nice.
Yes.
Dead straight back and maybe get rid of both yellows. Just misses the back one, but jams on the side one there to sit one in the rings. Which is pretty good. Very good, and the reason being it's going to force Estonia to make a play on the shot that's in the house. They saw what happened in the fifth end when they didn't play the hit on the biter, got into trouble. Can make this nicely where you roll right to the center line, however. This looks really good. Really good shot. Wow.
Really
Perfect.
nice. Maybe still got to play the run back, I guess. I was thinking maybe a little overroll, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could probably chase it and get that rock off the button, but what a nice roll there from Estonia. Couldn't have drawn it up much better. They said maybe an inch or two less roll, but really heck of a shot.
Sayaka just taking a double look at the angles, making sure she knows where they need to hit it, potentially hoping to move the one on the button too, Mike?
Yeah, it's certainly there. You just hit this just across nose a fraction.
That one really went off the center line, and she does get both yellows.
And
Great, and sticks the shooter, or the one that they ran back
yeah,
behind the guard.
Phenomenal shot. Wow. I liked her first instinct. You can actually make the run back and roll in.
They're going to go to the draw, though. Try and make another good one here.
Well, go back to the discussion we had, but if they make the draw, even if they make the draw and the run back's made, you're into it for 3. If you try to slash and make it, excellent. If you don't make it, probably never giving up more than 2.
Well, that's exactly how they gave up 2 to Japan a couple of ends ago. Almost gave up a 3 that end as we take an update between Korea and Czech Republic. Korea up 2 with last stone as Eunjung Kim looks like probably playing a hit for 2, Mike?
Looks easy for 2, hard for 3, one of those. Just pick it clean for 2, I think is the call.
Pick it for 2?
Yeah. Yeah, very nice.
And she will make it, and that will mean Korea goes up 4 points, 6-2 after 7. Estonia makes a nice come around, but opportunity here for Japan to chase around this guard and roll behind the corners. They've played this spot a number of times this game, and they just get it by.
That almost brushed the back edge of that guard out front. Stayed open. Might have brushed it. Let's have a look. No, just got by. What a shot. And the shooter rolled to a pretty good spot. Had to roll another half a rock and really could have been into it for 3 here. Torma needs to hit and stay here. We haven't seen this outturn very often, Jill. I'm trying to think what the outturn does, but
yeah, I agree.
Not 100% sure here.
This one looks like it's out there a little bit. It's coming off the center line. Close, a little over roll right into the opening.
Yeah, could have taken it all the way over.
So Japan, looks like they're indicating the roll to the middle.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go wide with this, but either or is fine. They're in good shape for 2 here.
Sayaka Yoshimura trying to hit and stay here, maybe get a bit of a roll. And calling last second to try to roll to the wing, and they do. Very small piece, but still open enough for Estonia to roll back to the middle.
Intern should curl here. This will, again, challenge is we just haven't seen this turn very often out here in the wings. But all kinds of real estate to roll to. That is pretty good for Estonia. Roll it right to the middle or even all the way over to the edge of the 8-foot on the left-hand side. Be a good chance here. It's going back to that shot that was flashed in the second end. May see this go straight down the sheet, but I can't imagine so.
And they're on it early here. They got to get by their guard if they want to not give up 3. And it does just get by and sits there. So it will be a hit for 2 here for Japan.
Yeah, that curled the whole way.
ったよ
Seventh end, last stone for Sayaka Yashimura. And a chance for two.
Kyle trying to make a curl. Strong sweeper. Well done.
That will be 2 points for Japan to go up by 1. 5-4 Japan after 7.
ナイス
赤子ナイスランドするナイスコールナイスアップコースだねコースだけどスチールのセットアップだなでチャンスがある
Here we are back at Winsport Arena. 8th end, Japan, Estonia. Japan with a 2 points in 7 and a 1 point lead. Estonia now with the last stone in 8.
Yeah, first time they've been trailing, so a bit of work to do now for Estonia. You know, and just as we were talking about at the start of the show, you know, they've been in this game and this has been a kind of a common theme for this team most of the week. As Furiyama, awesome game here today, 93% here. Well ahead of her compatriot from Estonia. A guard is needed here.
And probably the biggest matchup on the ice right now for some of the teams sitting around waiting for playoff implications. And Switzerland with a 7-2 lead over Germany. Germany with last stone here, looking for, I think, a single.
Yeah, just drawing for one. There's one behind the corner guard. So, yeah, any Canadian fans or American fans, you were definitely cheering for Switzerland in this one.
Trying to get that by, and it'll just tick off the guard, but still has enough weight to come into the button for a single, and it is 7-3 Switzerland after 7.
Yeah, Switzerland in control.
Bisschen draufgejumpt.
2 kaitset on selle mõttega, et nad hakkaks röövima lihtsalt. See oleks hea. Ma eelistaks outturni, aga vist ei saa. Ei saa, jah. Rollime minu poole.
Estonia playing the split here, trying to make some corner guards.
Yeah, not a bad play. They just, once this is made, though, they need to get some rocks into the rings, maybe some sort of freeze. We'll see what Japan elects to play.
Trying to get a piece of this, and they do touch it.
Yeah, decent result, actually. Saw them sweeping then, but it's out.
So we update you on all the sheets. Korea with a 6-2 lead over Czech. We just updated you on Switzerland, Germany. Sweden 6-4 over Italy, playing the 7th end, and Sweden has hammer there. And here's all the updated standings. Some of those teams at 6 are hoping for a Switzerland win here on this draw, and that's why we keep updating you. And you see the group there at 6 waiting to see what happens. Denmark still has a game tonight against the Czech Republic.
And Scotland plays China as well.
Yes. You see the top 4 there have already qualified for the playoff round and qualified their nation for the Olympic Games in Beijing next year in 2022. Japan trying to make a come around here and trying to get this by, and they do, and they stop sweeping it, trying to make sure it doesn't over curl.
Great shot. I think you play the tight one here if you can, if you're Team Estonia. That's the one that's guarding shot stone. Hit the tight one and roll your shooter in would be the best call to me. Or the double peel, one of the two, pick one. But I like that one. If you can get one in the house, it'll force Japan to make a play and you'll open up shot stone. That's the key here to this shot. Save your shooter somewhere. This should move a bit.
Trying to get it to that center line.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
And it does tick 2 of them in, Mike.
Phenomenal shot.
Works out wonderfully for Estonia and forces Japan to have to hit one of these. Similar-ish.
Yeah, Kelly, she's hanging in actually ahead of her competitor, Anna Omiya. That was phenomenal shot. Really good result. Definitely opens up the chance for 2 here in 8.
Finish this up a little bit to roll it over and in. Don't quite get it in.
No, same opportunity here. If they can hit the tight one and roll for another biter on the left-hand side. They're going over there. For me, I would go the other way. Try to roll another one into the rings way over on the right. Having said that, the double is available if they roll to the outside to the left as we're looking at it. It's close.
And does it sneak another one in there, Mike?
Might have, but left a double.
Yes.
No worries about jamming this on anything. If you're Japan, just throw some weight at it. Make sure the 2 yellows disappear. The other problem is they actually spun that red one a little bit more buried as well. So chance for Japan to get out of trouble here.
Whoa, out of the hand. Hoping this comes up a little bit, and it will. Removes both Estonian stones.
Very nice.
Estonia will try and roll behind that Japanese corner guard that was left there.
this hangs on, this is going to be amazing.
Just rolls out. Maybe a little more weight than they thought as we take a look here for an update between Korea and Czech Republic. Korea up 4, and Czech's in some trouble here. Not much to shoot at for a single. Last stone for Anna Kubishkova. And she plays the run back and does make a nice shot, and that will be for 2 points.
Thank you.
And Czech Republic will still be down a couple after 8 ends. Yeah, really nice shot here by Anna Kubishkova to run this yellow back onto the dead nut, onto the red. Spill everything to bring that top 8'1" into play, and 6-4 Korea after 8.
So it appears Estonia going to be trying to tap this red out. Or just tap it back anyways. The line looks good. Just need enough to get shot stone, move it back a little. What a great shot this is.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just a couple of bad rolls here in this end really have cost Estonia a chance for a big end, but still 2 in the mix with that.
And those numbers for Kaho are excellent. She's a great player. She's been having a good week. Japan just trying to freeze here.
Yeah, just trying to tighten up the scoring area. I don't know that they can really get shot stone without risking giving up more than 2. If you ever end up tapping this frozen and rolling open or something, would not be great.
Sweeper's cleaning this in. Looks pretty good.
Perfect angle.
And we have our first final here. Switzerland scoring a single to take a 8-3 win over Germany. But what a run for Daniela Jansch and Team Germany after losing 2 of their players to positive COVID tests and playing with 3 for the duration of the entire event.
And that roar you hear in the background is in the Canadian wilderness is all Canadian curling fans cheering as
and American
curling fans as Team Canada looking like they're into the playoffs now at 7. The queue won't go up until the draw is finished, and there's still some math to be done, but most of the scenarios where Germany is 6 and 7, Canada and US are qualified, so still a little bit of math to do, but hard fought battle for, well, all the women's teams here. It's just been a long week for a number of reasons. You know, you alluded to a little bit what's going on with Team Germany, but when Team Germany tested positive, that put a lot of things up in the air with a lot of the teams that were coming in for the first time. So certainly a lot of stress on all of these women.
Yeah, kind of an emotional stress that comes with that. And then, you know, we had a few positives on our broadcast crew, which then pulled a number of people out of the building, and it changes the atmosphere even more in here for the players. So we update you on all of our sheets. Korea leading 6-4 over Czech Republic, and our final on sheet B, and Sweden leading 8-4 over Italy. And we have
one added in there. Team Canada now in. Team USA anxiously waiting.
ちょっと厳しい。マイナス。あ、オッケー。カップ？今の曲がりはちょっと厳しいかも。
So it looks like Japan just trying to block the path in here for a second point. There's really no way in on the other side of the sheet for a second point here for Estonia. So if they can block the in-turn path with a button, this would be the smart call. You don't want to give up 2 here. Took you 7 ends to get that control point. Really would love to make sure that you make this shot for 2 as difficult as possible for Estonia. Hard to take the full draw opportunity away, but you want to do as best you can. It's going to overcurl a little. So there will be a shot for 2 here. Wide in-turn draw. Pretty good. I think if Japan could choose, they would move that red stone about 6 inches further to the right as we're looking at it there.
Yes.
Make it a little more difficult.
jaa, 14,5 tegelikult tuleb harjaga ilusti. Nende omal 14,3, mis neil see friis oli, et nad ei harjata tegelikult terve tee seda. Ta läheb nüüd sinna laiema selle traktori peale, kus ta võib räägida libisema hakata. Jaa, ma võin 35. 35. Jah.
So last stone here for Marie Sherman, Estonian skip. Trying to draw to the side of the forefoot here for 2 points.
Taga valge. Hetkel väga väljas ka praegu oota. Taga valge. Peab pöörama. Taga puna. Ei tuleb ise hetkel. Taga puna. Okei, suund on hea. Taga puna. 13,5. Siia vaja. Jaa, tuleb ise. Me ise.
The line is good. If it stops, will it stop? It does.
What a great draw. And a big smile from Marie Sherman as they score a big 2 points here in the 8th end. Take a 6-5 lead. Going into 9.
Õige isegi. Jaa, 23 jälle. See oli õige selle ääre kohta. Jah. Mida? Jah, kõik oli väga hästi. We were a bit lucky with the edge as well, but it's okay. That it break, like, it slowed down a bit. Yeah, fresh path, I know.
Give it a chance and yield it perfectly. Good job. So they're probably going to come hard again. They're going to come hard and try. So I think we go in.
I think so.
I think so. Go in and you can go tight and even in.
With the second.
It's okay, you know, and then deal with their blocks. They've taken chances.
Okay, yeah, okay.
They've tried great shots to get them.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Ühesõnaga
Esimesega top. Punane. John, kiirus. Esivalge. See hakkas kohe pöörama. Täishari. Esisini. No see ei tule ju esinini. Too nii kaugele, kui saad. Ma ei tea, kas see oli halvasti lahti lastud või siis oli võttis alla. See hakkas kohe pöörama. Aga huvitav.
Excellent.
Welcome back to the LGT World Women's Curling Championship. Our feature game here between Japan and Estonia, and it's been a great game to follow. Estonia taking 2 and 8 to have a 1-point lead here in 9. Japan will have last time.
Sama vise.
It really just comes down to preference here for Estonia and Japan. You know, would you rather be one up without or one down with? Kind of that eternal question we've talked about. You know, average on tour, you know, thousands and thousands of games over the years. One up without the hammer wins about 60% of the time. So you are ahead, you have an advantage.
So Japan really wanting to score 2 here.
But, I was going to say, but, you know, we see a lot of teams really go for the blank in the 9th end and happy to be one down with. So it really, you know, it depends on what your belief is. If you think you can get 2, then you try to blank. If you're more worried about the stats, then you take 2 whenever you can get it.
Coming around the guard just to bite the 8-foot.
まだ変わんなそう？
Taha sinna? See punane, okei. See on okei. Sinna taha, jah?
So some thought there, I think, by Estonia about whether to go around everything or just play the freeze, but it looks like the indication was the corner freeze.
That's the easier shot, for sure. So, looked at some of the scenarios, Jill, for USA fans who are wondering why there's no Q beside their name. If Korea wins over there on sheet A, that would do the trick for USA as well. So there is a scenario where Korea loses, that the USA may not get that final spot. So if you're change flags on your jacket now, all the American fans. Now you're cheering for the Olympic silver medalists to knock off the Czech team on sheet A.
So Estonia ended up coming around everything, but chance here for Japan to maybe get it, but it over curls and they'll just tick their own. Will their shooter stay? Not quite. Easily slips out the back.
Yeah, chance now to simplify their life a little bit. I think I'd be tempted to play the little run back there, Jill, across top, but
I think that is the call.
Cannot afford to hit this near the nose. That red's going to be driven back. May kill your own. Have to hit it this across the top, across the face rather. That's a little scary.
võin veel pöörata.
Chance here for Japan to play a hit and roll to the wing. Set up their deuce here in 9.
Trying to make a curl, doing a good job.
It'll just touch it, not push it far enough, and the shooter will also roll out. Big missed opportunity there.
Yeah, good news is they're dead buried and no real run backs available for Estonia. So, you know, if you wanted to change gears, if you're Estonia, you could play some sort of double run.
Ma seda mõtlesingi.
Don't know if that's the call.
Ta on võimalik, aga ma pigem asetaks praegu. Okei.
They're happy to mix it up here.
30-35. Jah. Jah. Käi juurde. 42. Esivalge, valge! Esivalge! Kiirust või? Valge! Täisari. Esisini! Täisari! 3 maks! Okei, see ei tule. See oli 42, ta ei pannud käega juurde.
This will come up short and just tick the front guard, which is not a great result for Estonia.
No, and now Big End is in the mix again, not running that yellow back. You're into it, so. I think Japan's got to go around the middle. I think Estonia. One of the things is, what will your opponents do? If you draw open, I can't imagine Estonia hitting it. They'll probably go around the middle. So.
I agree, especially at this point in the end.
Come around is the call. Want to keep this in front of the tee line. Needs to stop. Oh boy.
Yeah, and just slips
Disaster.
just back button, and that leaves an opening here for Estonia.
So the freeze is made. This could take the end away and give Estonia a really good chance of winning this one. This looks heavy.
Yeah, sweepers are not even really looking at this one. Probably under their breath, telling it to slow down, but it's not going to, and this will sail right through the rings.
So this goes from a big chance to win to chance to give up 3 or 4 here.
Yeah, big missed opportunity there for Estonia again as we take another update. Korea, Czech Republic.
And,
Korea with a draw against 1, it looks like.
Yeah, it needs the button though, so this is not easy again for you American fans. There is a scenario if Korea loses, drops to 6 and 7, that if there could be a 4-way tie at the top where USA would not, excuse me, for 6th place where USA would not end up getting that final qualification spot. So that will stop. So that's a cheer from south of the border here from all the Team USA fans.
7-4 Korea after 9.
아까 차는 게 좀 세게 세다.
Another little mistake here from Japan has opened things up a bit. You know, there's two chances here now. If they're, you look at Estonia looking at the run back, they could play the freeze here, Jill, and really, they've got a little pocket available. Could make it really difficult to score. As we look in across the sheet C, Olympic champion Anna Hasselborg in her own battle there against Italy. Playing the run back, it's hard to get rid of two reds playing this. I think the best case scenario, you'd run this back and save your shooter somewhere in the forefoot, but there's no real good angle for a double. Big shot here for Estonia.
The sweepers are on this one early. Looks like it's going to over curl already. Oops.
Oh boy, that could have.
And yes.
That was coming hard to the right.
And her Erica Tvike's foot didn't quite get out of the way fast enough and got stuck between the two stones, and there'll be some discussion about what the result actually was going to be.
If you look at the guards up top, that was going to hit the guard that's stationary on the left would have been over quite a bit, and the other one would have been quite a bit higher. Would have kind of spun up and out, it looks like. But it's up to Japan as the non-offending team to place the rock wherever they like, and they've left. We'll have a look at it one more time. So really at the end of the day, they've moved the guard that was on the center line over a little bit, which it's hard to predict. But again, the non-offending team is the one who places it. And to be honest, it's difficult to say what would have happened if you're not really looking closely. It's a very unusual thing to happen at this level. But what a great chance now for Japan.
Yeah, they were going to have this shot regardless, I think, of what happened.
The yellow one might have been further out of the way, that's all. But certainly it would have been a draw to lie 4 still. And again, no easy doubles there for Estonia. That guard being left there actually could help Estonia, in fact.
ここで 13.8。ここでね、4秒ちょいぐらいだったんだよね。ちょっと早くはあったんだけど。ノースイープだもんね。4ドローで変わってないね。スイープも効くわ。まだ。
Looking for a rock into the top 12. 15 seconds would be close. Perfectly placed. Yeah, I don't know what you do now if you're Estonia. You might have to play that right hand yellow combo. I don't know. Nothing good up the middle. Guess you can hit that red on the nose, maybe and get rid of 3. But I think the yellow on the left, Jill, might be the shot. Hate to say it, but problem is, again, if you miss it, it's an open hit for 5 for Japan.
Definitely game on the line here for Estonia as they decide to call a timeout.
I always joke with teams that I've coached over the years, once you're in really big trouble, the damage is done. So what are you calling me out for?
I can't help you now, right?
Yeah, well, I can't help you anymore. So as Nicole Strauzak makes her way down, this conversation will be interesting. Not sure what I like. I don't think there's any way to draw through that. Well, you could draw through that port, the yellow-red combo. We saw a bunch of hits made down in that area a few ends ago, but boy, oh boy, what a mess.
The nose triple on number 2. High side, if anywhere. or go on the outside to this run.
Right. Nicole sees what we see.
I still think this one here is like, if you do that, it could be 3 out of it. I think I would go for this one.
Okay, and not for this.
It's the 2 options. Which one do you feel more comfortable? I mean, we played this side just now.
Yeah, and it overcurled.
Where would you put the broom? Like center?
Yes. Well, the last one overcurled.
Yeah. We want to hit, if anything, high side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Nicole mentioned the 2 options. Hit this red right on the nose, get rid of the 2 on the button, hopefully spin the one you send back out as well, or the yellow on the left-hand side short of the rings. Both are extremely difficult, and both are game shots.
Final stone for Estonia. Trying to save the game here by getting rid of a few of these Japanese stones.
Lines in the ballpark here.
And she runs it back and does, but jams the one on the back. And
very unlucky.
very unfortunate there for Marie Terminer. Well thrown stone, and almost got rid of all 3 of those. You see here the one that goes off the button ends up jamming, dead jamming on that back one, and this is now a draw for 3 for Japan. Last stone for Sayaka Yoshimura.
Free draw for 3. Critical point though. Get a 2-point lead heading home.
That's a big difference from a 1-point lead. Sweeper's backing off a little bit, but it does look good, and that will be 3 for Japan. And they will take an 8-6 lead coming home here over Estonia.
Oh, nice.
She wanted to give the hammer away, maybe.
So you're just 2 down.
I know.
You're doing a good job, Marie. Now we just need to.
たよりいかなかったわ。
気持ち履き心地も。
The last end here between Estonia and Japan. Japan with a big 3 score in the 9th end, take an 8-6 lead. So Estonia with hammer here in 10 and looking for 2 to tie this one up.
Here, Nicole, just well, we listened in during the break, just saying, listen, we're doing a good job. Just try to get our 2 here and move on. That was a really well thrown rock by Marie Turman on her last. And said just a very unfortunate break, jamming it on the back. Stone at the back 12-foot. And conversely here for Japan, they're just going to try to find a way to bring play into the rings. I don't know that center guard being 2 up would have been my first choice.
Agreed.
Or one behind the tee line.
And one, I was just going to say, and now a mistake behind the tee. And so confirmation just that with that Korea win over Czech Republic, that
Pigem pehme. 2. Pehmem. 2. Nii kõrge kui vaja. Mitte midagi. Liisa. Okei.
One more guard here for Estonia.
Pööra.
That's a good shot. So 2 corners now and 1 back 4.
Proviks siitpoolt selline nagu.
and another win on the board for Sweden as they take a win over Italy 9-5, and Sweden will be 9-3 and Italy will drop to 2-11. And more important game probably on playoff implications, Korea with a final score of 7-4 over Czech Republic, and that does confirm that the United States of America will qualify their country for the Olympics in Beijing next year.
So the message is practice your draw to the button, everyone.
Yes.
A lot of head-to-head matches. Korea ended up 7-6. There's a couple of other teams that can end up 7-6, but with the head-to-head results and last stone draw implications, Canada and the USA are the ones who move forward with that 7-6 record. Along with Denmark. Denmark's still in there at, they're at 7-5, so they have one more game to play. So who plays who in the playoffs still yet to be determined based on what happens with Denmark later this evening.
But the 6 nations that have qualified for the Olympic Games next year have been determined. Those are Switzerland, RCF, Sweden, Denmark, Canada, and the United States.
And also for the playoffs here, they all still have a chance of winning this thing. So 6 very happy nations right now. And as I said, that Olympic qualifying event, you got the Olympic silver medalists, the Olympic bronze medalists, former world champion in Scotland,
and world bronze medalist from 2014, Eve,
Yes, exactly. So
Estonia getting this by the guard, but just ticks off a couple of the Japanese stones, and unfortunate.
timeout. Things too many reds in play and a couple of yellow guards here. So
いけないもんね。
Hiroshi Saito will make his way down.
できれば曲がりすぎのこっち気味に置けれればいいよね。
相手どうこの先さこう開いてったりしたらチャンスある？
いやでも結構ワンツースリーだからね今の時点で結構厳しいと思うけど、開いたとしても
なんか打てない方がいい気がする。
See on the board there, the coaches get travel time, but Hiroshi took a little extra time.
Probably consulting with their national team coach JD Lind as well, what they like to do. But again, Hiroshi, very experienced coach and player himself.
そこ取りたいよね。そこ取りたいよね。
ここ
ベストだよね。
これも使えるしね。赤の裏っていい感じ。
前だったらどうだ。少し前だったら悪いか。
この辺？
うん。
悪くないと思う。
ああ、じゃあその辺許容あるね。
入りすぎがあんま良くない？そうだね。そうだね。
Gonna look around, go around, take a look at the
ど
angles.
こまで入りすぎは OK だ。
どこ OK だと思う。
Again, without last rock, you don't love leaving opponent stones hanging around, especially when you're
それより
ahead.
前でも悪くないよね。
それまでもいいと思う。
But
ああ、OK。OK。
使えるし。
lots of good options for Estonia right now around the middle with those reds.
OK、よし行こう。
どうしようかな。
I think the call is top 8, Mike.
I think so. It's good play.
多分これに近い曲がりだよね。
だと思う。だからちょっと狭くていいね。狭くしていいね。
Comes up short. There's definitely an in-turn freeze available for Estonia to that back zone at the back of the button.
さっきのガードぐらいのイメージでも引っ張れるよね。
And now you see the updated standings and the updated qualifying picture. See all the cues there. Switzerland, RCF, Sweden, Denmark, Canada, USA have all qualified for the playoff round and for their nation's qualification for the Beijing Olympics.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Denmark is to win. They would end up in 4th place alone. Canada and USA would have the same record, but USA beat Canada, so Canada would end up 6th, and they would play Anna Hasselborg in the quarterfinal.
Right, these are the placings for the playoffs that you're
Right,
referring to, Mike.
3 place 6, and 4 place 5.
1 and 2 get the bye to the
Right.
semifinals.
So a lot to be decided yet. Denmark again has one more game. If they drop down to 7 and 6, then there's a 3-way tie. They all would have beaten each other, and it'll come down to that last stone draw total. Who gets seated where, and who gets the good fortune of taking on the Olympic champions in the quarterfinals. Got to go to get by here. That's going to over curl, and it's a mess.
11.6 oli hea, aga see oli lihtsalt pehme, ma arvan veits.
ilmselt küll jah.
And so looking to place a guard here for Japan.
ちょっとタイトめだった？いや大丈夫だよ。大丈夫？ちょっと境目あるか。あ、オッケー。3？センター横2、2半かな。2、2半。
オッケー。
ラインだね。ローテはちゃんとあるから。ラインだけだよ。はい、いい感じ。あ、任せろ。2、ちょっとイエスじゃないか。いや、いいよ。いい。曲がってはいる。イエス。ラインだけ。ちょっと高いよ。イエス。イエス。イエス。もうちょっと。
Okay, nice.
And
Not bad.
pretty good, a little higher than they wanted. It's still a good guard.
Nüüd on rohkem seda paista.
10. Okay.
So Estonia indicating a hit and roll here. Got a few rocks to get rid of, though, here, Mike.
Yeah, a bit of work to do yet. That's close to the guard as well. So a couple of misses there from Lisa. So if they're going to score 2, it's going to have to be with their skip stones.
黄色打っちゃうのはないんだよね。相手あとこれかな。あ、そっか、いいよ。もう一回いいと思う。近けていいと思う。
そうだね、許容3の方か。
許容3の方だね。
オッケー。2半3だね。近い方か。
間だよね。
センター横。
So I want this guard a little bit
もうちょっと右か。
tighter, I think.
ここ。そうだね。
Yeah, they basically have to prevent the hit and roll off the outside red or some sort of nose double on that outside red. I think regardless of what happens here, you're going to see Marie Turman being forced to play some sort of big weight shot. I think if this guard over curls a bit, you could actually make the triple on the 3 reds on the left-hand side, like the 2 on the left and the 1 at the back of the forefoot, but would leave an open hit for Japan to still to lie 2.
First of Skip's stones. Here in 10.
ちょっと早め。いやー、3。
3だいいよ。
ナイス近いな、かなり。いいな。ちょっと入ってて。
ちょっと近いよ。オッケー。
3。いい感じ。いい感じ。そのままたい。ハウスにちょっとかかるかもしれない。わかる。
So I'm curling a little more than their previous guards, and it does leave that side one open there, Mike, as you suggested.
Yeah, right on the nose, make the triple. You might have a chance to get 2 on your last, or you try to roll underneath. Still makes it difficult though to score 2.
Nous. Et lihtsalt kondrikki läheks ära, et meil tekiks lihtsalt võimalus. 8 pool.
Not throwing as much weight as I thought she might, Mike, but trying to move some reds.
Just hit it on the nose, it'd be
Here.
close. Looks close. Excellent shot. Really good.
Yeah, really good, and brings that back yellow in to be 3rd shot for the moment. Maybe even 2nd.
Pidi liigutama neid, ma ei saanud lihtsalt praegu.
Yeah, so yellow lying 1st and 3rd, I believe. Watch where this ends up. So dead on the nose. Excellent shot. So the yellow slash double is probably the easiest option here for Japan. They can't really afford to try to hit and roll into the middle, because if they hit it on the nose and jam on the back, they might leave some sort of angle raised double for 3. So slash double definitely there. Hit a little less than half, maybe a 3rd. Would be close. Chance to win the game right here.
Final stone for Sayaka Yoshimura. Here in 10. Trying to make a slash double to put an end to this game. Sweepers on this all the way. And she'll miss the back one. So it's going to be a tricky tap maybe, Mike, for...
Yeah, it's not the easiest shot for 2, even though the double was missed. They're actually looking at the angle raise, because you can only see less than a quarter of that one. I think that makes sense, actually.
Liiga lähestikku. Ma arvan, et see on see ise.
So Estonia has a little less than a minute and a half on their clock.
Siis see läheb sinna lihtsalt. Ma saan nagu õige nurga all.
Kas te arvate, et 12-ga on tehtav või? Päris lähedal kaitse on. See tundub nii lühike vahemaa.
You can only see, I think you can only see less than a quarter, and you have to stay in the 8 foot as well. So this is very, very difficult.
12, tagajoon. Okei. Lihtsalt vaevu halvemaks, ma ei tea. Okei. Ja siis punast edasi.
So Marie Turman heading down to the hack here, and last stone for Estonia, 10th end. Japan currently up 2.
Pane nurk sinna.
And Marie changing her mind, and
Well, you sit in the hack, look at that, you can only see, gosh, like 2 inches of that stone. And you have to stay in the 8 foot. So I like this call. Play the shot you can make. They could miss the guard by a centimeter and still roll too far. So I like this call.
yeah, and she'll set up in the hack. 15 seconds left. Last stone here, the 10th end. And does she? Oh, and she'll just hit the outside edge of that one, and it'll be another point for Japan, and a final score of 9-6. Japan over Estonia.
Hard-fought battle by both teams.
Yeah, really, really good game, really close, and well played by both sides. And Japan happy to finish on a positive note. And there's the final line score you see there. Japan with a 9-6 win over Estonia in what was for the most part a pretty close game. As we take a look at some highlights here in the 5th end here, and Marie Turman made a really good shot this end to cut the Japanese down from scoring a bundle. And so this ends up being a draw for 2 points for Japan. This ends up being to tie the game, and it does come up enough that they get it in there for 2. And a tie game, and we go to 7. Again, Japan with the last stone. And a couple of missed opportunities for rolls here by Estonia, and leaves this hit for Japan. Trying to make it curl and make sure it sticks around, and no problem, and it does. And that was another big 2 for Japan to go up 1, and the 9th end probably the turning point for Japan, again having the hammer this end, and again some missed opportunities for Estonia to hold them to 1, and therefore it's a open draw for a big 3 points.
8、8、
ゆっくり曲がっちゃってる。
And it will end up being good, and so Japan ends up taking a 2-point lead into the 10th end.
ナイス。
And they have no problem holding on to the win, as you see some frustration from Estonia's Marie Turman. But Japan happy to finish on a winning note. As we take a look at all of our final scores here in session 23, Korea with a win over Czech Republic, Switzerland over Germany, Sweden over Italy, and as we just showed you, Japan over Estonia. And now, because of a couple of the games on this draw and the way things went and who won what, that means we have our 6 qualifiers. Those top nations have qualified their country for the Beijing Olympics next year. As well, they have qualified for the playoff round. We just don't know the exact standings, as there is still one more draw to come tonight. But you see Switzerland, RCF, Sweden, Denmark, Canada, United States have all qualified. Korea, Scotland, Germany, China, Japan, Czech Republic, Italy, and Estonia all on the outside looking in.
It's okay, I can.
Here with Team Japan skip, JD Lin. JD, thank you for your time, first of all, but maybe describe a little bit about the motivation for Team Japan there in this final round robin game.
Yeah, it's it's always tough, this part of the week when you know you're out, but they have a lot of energy, a lot of pride, and they definitely want to finish strong. And I think having a good game against Canada yesterday, obviously a good one today, and then Sweden being the last one, I know they're still really excited to play well.
So you got a bit of work to do, as you said. You got Sweden this evening. What handicap some of the playoff teams for us? What have you seen? What have you noticed this week?
Oh wow, we've played. Everybody we've played has played really well. It's been a really tight field, not just the playoff teams, but even everybody right from the top down. So we've had a lot of tight games with a lot of teams, and I think that what we'll see in the playoffs is a lot of really good games, and really it's anybody's guess at this point.
Well, appreciate your time, and congratulations on a good week.
Thanks.
And so that will finish our coverage here of session 23. And there's one more session to go tonight that was a postponed draw from last Sunday morning that will happen this evening, and both qualifying games and the rest of the playoffs will begin tomorrow. Thank you for joining us for our feature game between Estonia and Japan, and we look forward to having you back again this evening.